American LCS, we're just minutes away from our third match, Team Liquid versus Cloud9. But first, let's see what new development in the NALCS has you the most excited and why. Our first response comes from @Johan who writes, Bunny Fufu as a shot caller. The skill ceiling skyrocketed, and I can't wait to see what else they have to show us. @KCM Loria is excited for the other side of our Game 5 matchup. Definitely the best change is Pobelter being added to the CLG roster. I have always loved CLG and Pobelter. Love the combo. Then @DeadAxel23 says, I love the addition of Echo, and I'm excited to see which NA top laners pick him up. So very lane specific there with that one. One development, though, that isn't exactly new. Frustration among our feline audience continues to grow at exponential levels, as seen in this tweet from @XMetric.
Yeah. Well, that pretty much sums up how I feel about cats, so I think we're fair here.
All right, so the feeling is mutual.
Yeah.
Keep the conversation going. We're @LOL Esports and use the hashtag LCS. But now let's jump into our next match, Team Liquid versus Cloud9. A win here for Team Liquid would keep them in a tie for first place and help distinguish them as a contender for the summer playoffs.
Yeah, so Team Liquid, they're 3-1. It's a good record, but 2 of their wins so far are against 0-4 teams, so it's not like the hardest schedule so far. The real test for how good Team Liquid actually are starts this week. They start playing tougher opponents. Cloud9, honestly, is one of them.
Yeah, and Cloud9 Incarnation, you talked to him a couple weeks ago about who he thought were really good mid laners, and he said that Phoenix was the hardest person to lane against in scrims. Now, he gets to face Stage Phoenix, which we know is a completely different beast because Scrim Phoenix is apparently crushing everybody. I want to see how Incarnation holds up against Phoenix in the mid lane and if his assessment of him is still accurate on stage.
Yeah, of course. Then you look across the rift at Cloud9's record. They started last split 1-3 and still managed to finish second. However, that was with their tried and true roster. And this split, they've lost 3 games in a row, their longest losing streak since joining the league. When you factor in they're still adjusting to their new mid laner, is it still too soon to hit the panic button?
I mean, I don't think it's too soon. I don't think you need to hit the panic button, really. Like, I talked about it on PTL earlier this week, and TSM did the same kind of thing. They dropped their big shot caller, Reginald. They put in this new all-star mid laner, Bjergsen, who was up and coming, hadn't been tested very much, was a great player, and this happened again. TSM took a split, and then they were the best team in North America again. And I think the same thing can happen here with Incarnation, where when they grow as a team, his individual skill gets better, he adapts to playing competitive, this team can definitely improve.
Yeah, and I do think that the transition with Incarnation is just going to take time. But meanwhile, the rest of Cloud9 is on a downward trend as well. Meteos, he's picked up the shot calling role, and it just hasn't been going well for them so far. The fact that they've lost more games in a row than they ever have is a big sign of that. And they've been flailing losses where they don't know what to do. And at the same time, Balls has also been consistently losing lane, which is really surprising for this top laner who was so dominant for so long.
Yeah, I actually went through and through the help of some of the guys at Riot, went through a bunch of the stats of Cloud9 players, and I actually couldn't find like a weak link where it was like, High is clearly much worse than he was in 2013, or Meteos is clearly much worse. Like, they're losing lane right now, and, you know, same thing happened when they went 1-3 and back in the spring split. It just feels like right now they're having early game difficulties, and after a certain point, they'll probably get back into shape, and it should be okay again.
All right, well, we're going to send it over to the guys for the play-by-play, but first, Dominate explains that Cloud9 still have all the pieces they need to be a great team.
They obviously must have learned things from having such a good shot caller for such a long time. If they're just able to like fill in the gaps, they can be strong. They just need to be able to like adapt to Incarnation's style, which is like a more passive carry oriented instead of just like somebody who's trying to do as much as possible with very little resources. So I think that they just need to get more comfortable, but I don't think they'll be like a bad team by any stretch.
Not a bad team by any stretch is probably the right thing to say. Just working out the kinks right now. And as we get into our next game, I am Rivington Biz in the third, and camping the caster desk with me is going to be Sam Kobe Hartman Kensler for the next 3 games. We're doing an early switch here. So let's get into that game with a look at the starting lineups on the blue side. It is Team Liquid. That means it's going to be Quas in the top lane, dominating the jungle, Phoenix in mid, Piglet at AD carry with Xpecial at support.
And on the red side is Cloud9. Up top is Balls in the jungle, Meteos, mid Incarnation, AD carry Sneaky, and support Lemonation.
And it is a question, will Cloud9 kind of be able to iron out all of these things that have been plaguing them? It does seem like Incarnation could even maybe kind of take a split to get things going. We've seen teams have to do that, but then come out big once they have that time.
Yeah, I'm very curious, what style Cloud9 will like to go to in the mid lane. There are plenty of poke choices now. So if Incarnation does want to play that more hang-back style, passive-oriented carry laner, then, the Varus, the Kog'Maw are all very viable choices for him right now in the meta. It's just up to Cloud9. Do they want to go that direction as Dominate?
Well, that Kog'Maw
thought that they did.
That Kog'Maw being very big now, pretty much a nightmare in the eyes of Team Solo Mid, being the reason they've lost, well, 1 games in the end.
Yeah, it is a very strong late game for us, but man, the early game is very weak, and that has been one of Cloud9's biggest pain points this split. Their early game has been very, very poor. They've had a real difficulty getting out of the laning phase without a severe deficit.
Looking at the bans as they go across, pretty normal from what we see between these two teams. Sneaky Sivir gets taken away for team utility. The Callista and Ryze we would expect to see as well.
So Alistar's still up, as is Thresh. A couple of the high priority supports, but both early game junglers taken down.
Yeah, there's the Alistar. Good call. Rek'Sai does get taken out, so a little early game pressure will not be had here by Dominate if they were to first pick it. Echo still left up within the pick ban phase here, but a lot actually is in those high tiers.
I am so excited. I hope that the Echo trend continues and we get some Echo games as well.
I feel like we haven't seen kind of top tier Echo play. Obviously, everybody's still getting the plays in there. We heard that Lost Boy on his Bard had some 100+ plays, so the teams have had time and have probably focused him, if you're a mid laner, pretty well. But we've seen him on the other positions, so I wonder how much time everybody has been able to get onto Echo. Like I said, I think we're still waiting to see the real big outplays with him.
Yeah, I don't think that Cloud9 will go with that style, sadly. Just the melee carry is not
sadly
Incarnation style, definitely. They'll probably go with much more long range for him.
It's what he says he likes. When when they talk to Incarnation, he says, I like to be that assassin. I want to be that aggressive guy. So maybe he'll get the chance sometime. That Fizz picked up could actually be balls in the top lane with that Cinderhulk. And the meta recently, Meteos picks up Nunu to be a big, giant bully in the jungle. We'll see if he can get that to play out for the team, as we're looking at an Echo float here on the side of Team Liquid.
Yes, Phoenix is definitely someone who can do it. As they mentioned again, Incarnation versus Phoenix, highly hyped up mid lane matchup. See if he can get the edge there. But I really do think, top lane Fizz, very, very popular. Opting for another Cinderhulk, so they will have a pretty beefy front line here for Cloud9. I'm very curious to see what Meteos, how he utilizes the Nunu though. Nunu works really well with strong lanes, and Incarnation has not really been a strong lane for Cloud9 to work off of. Makes it really difficult to abuse the strengths of Nunu and get counter jungling done, and get those deep wards down and try and punish the other jungler if you don't have a strong mid lane to work off of.
Right.
Because if the other mid laner collapses before, then even Nunu can be taken down if he gets a little too deep.
Well, basically what Incarnation's looking at, if he does decide to pick that, he can still wait to round it out, is what we saw last game. Echo versus Kog. There was also a Hecarim on the side of Team Solo Mid, so he kind of just watched a little bit of this matchup. If he feels confident in being able to dodge 3 people under turrets at times and come up with first blood, then so be it. But right now, definitely waiting and letting that clock tick down here for Cloud9.
Yeah, so far, it's actually fairly scary for Incarnation, because even if he likes to play long range safe,
which works,
he's facing Echo, Hecarim, and Alistar. That's some serious dive potential right there. Yes, they will have to go through Nunu, and Azir wall as well as another good defense for them to lock in. But if they can get around those things, Team Liquid does have very strong dive potential at the moment.
So waiting to round out the pick bans here. The 3-1 Team Liquid versus the 1-3 Cloud9. Corki is going to get locked in. A little bit more poke for this team.
Yeah, and some of that mid-game power as well for them. So Team Liquid setting themselves up to make a good mid-game push. Hecarim,
awesome. Do it.
Is definitely going to be top lanes, and it looks like Quast will be opting for the Ignite. So that shifts Hecarim power up more towards the mid-game rather than super late game of the Smite teleport. So I'd actually like Team Liquid to keep the Ignite teleport and not switch over to Smite. And then last lock-in is the LeBlanc. So it'll be a jungle Echo. high probability of going tanky build, so
Yeah.
maybe not as exciting as the mid lane one, but LeBlanc will take over assassin duties. This is still the full speed LeBlanc, by the way. Has not been slowed down yet.
I actually like how much the Echo in the jungle can fare. I feel like he becomes less of a priority. My eyes are on this guy target. You still have a Blanc to watch for, and he can do more things, be mischievous.
There's definitely a lot of advantages to being in the fog of war as Echo.
Right.
Namely, his W active. You know, sometimes we'd actually have seen already teams not looking for it when he isn't in view. But if he's not in view, then it makes it much easier to land.
It's hard to use. We've also pointed out, you said using that timing is definitely something people are getting used to, so we're seeing a bit of the misplays catch people out. And using those new champions can definitely also get under your skin if you're not doing it correctly. We do see the round out, though. Nautilus going to be picked up here for the team, and Incarnation's going to go with Azir in the mid lane. Once again, he ended the week doing this, also brought out Victor last week to no avail. So Cloud9 looking to stop the bleeding, a 3-game loss here as we come into week 3. Team Liquid, they've only lost to Gravity last week, and that's another one of the teams sitting at the top of the standings.
Yep. All right. So Cloud9, they do lock up the very strong Nunu plus Azir combo, which will provide them with a large amount of consistent damage if they can keep that Azir safe. Zoning of Nunu, as well as the ultimates from Azir and Nautilus, should do their part as far as controlling the battlefield. Definitely going to be hard to keep that Hecarim in check, though, coming in with that home guard teleport.
It's going to be interesting to watch as well. Echo gets his 3rd game of the day here. We'll see if he can get some more play and another victory on the board. If you think Team Liquid's going to keep their hold on first place, tweet hashtag TLWin. Or if you're calling this game for Cloud9, tweet hashtag C9Win to @LOL Esports. We'll see where the fan vote stands throughout the game. And still speaking of that Echo pick, it really comes kind of in your mind. You're just saying, that's weird that nobody's going to ban it, but everybody wants it, but it's not really working out for anybody. So who has the right idea with this Echo pick?
Everybody wants their chance to be to make their name and become immortal. Talk about Echo a little bit later, but big matchup will be the top lane. As we said, Quas did decide to stick with that Ignite teleport.
Yep. And speaking about Quas and the top laners, Ball shared his thoughts on what makes Quas such a tough top laner.
Quas is known for playing, doing really well in trades in lane, and whenever he gets ahead, he knows how to use his advantage. If we have the same champions, we play pretty similar, but Quas is able to play more other aggressive champions.
Having that aggressive pool that Ball says Quas has a little bit better handle on, but he can still bring out the Fizz here, and Fizz can impact the game greatly.
Yeah, and as he said, you know, if Quas can get that early lead, knows what to do with it on Hecarim.
Yeah.
Get some teleport plays towards the bottom side of the map. All right, so far though, invade spotted, so we will have mirrored wards. Both teams gonna get down the lane swap wards. Try and figure out the matchup here. All right, so talk a little bit more about Echo, just because, as he said, he's going to get through a lot in the early stages here. He did come out powerful, but
yeah.
And we'll probably see him picked a lot as well, just because everybody wants their chance, you know, to make those famous plays. I also really like the Theorycraft. Whenever a new champion comes out, I really love the plays where you get to name the play after the player, just because it's so magnificent. And I'm very excited to see somebody utilize Echo's full potential.
So you're saying we're going to get to dominate this game?
What I want to see is the most amazing recall bait. You can pull this off with Echo.
Okay.
If you recall back to base, you can still ultimate back out onto the map. So if you recall by a ward or something you're going to try and bait with, or an objective like Dragon, and then use your ultimate back out onto the field and use the massive AoE to take down a team, that is the type of play that I'm looking for, and I hope that some of the players have been, you know, thinking outside of the box, looking for those types of plays, because those are the ones that are named after you and make you immortal.
It becomes very, very difficult. We're probably not going to see any of those plays from Dominate's Echo just in the early part of the jungle, rather. He's going to be harassed here by Meteos, which will, 1, slow him down,
Yeah.
And then 2, make it harder for him to get those levels to even want to get into lane. Already using parallel convergence for the shield to make sure it's safe farming.
Yeah, and that's an important indicator. We were going to watch, not only the jungle matchup, but the mid lane. Meteos already having the confidence, get in there, steal away some of the Echo jungle, keep him down. And you're very right. Jungle Echo, a lot less possibility to make those huge YouTube plays just because a lot less farm in the jungle. It's an underpaid position. Mid lane gets way more opportunity because they can build full AP. We'll see what Dami decides to go for, though. He could opt for the AP Echo from the jungle. It's just much, much more difficult to pull off, and you need to snowball.
Also could hurt from Incarnation's pressure onto Phoenix. If Phoenix has to go back, take Raptors, start taking the jungle as well to get in this one. Could be pretty tough. Seems like he got enough minions here to clean up and make it pretty even, but he's going to miss these ones, actually. No, he won't. They don't push up to the turret. Actually plays it very well with the melees.
The crowd feeling his pain.
Crowd felt it. Getting in his own head there. 4 minutes in, Incarnation places a ward just above himself. He knows that Meteos is on that side as well. And actually, this would be great now. You see Dominate going for the same spot.
Also, little tricky action up on the top side of the map.
Right.
Quas, he's shoved in his lane and immediately looks to use that advantage. He gains a small amount of time where he can leave the lane because he pressured balls into the turret, and he goes to help Dominate with the counter jungling, try and get it back from Nunu. They're able to get that red, so no 3 buff for Meteos on the Nunu. And really, Dominate has Quas to thank for that. Even though it's a jungle play, jungling is always a team objective, a team activity they need to bring and involve everyone in.
Very nicely played. Seems like they got the lane matchup so they could make that happen with Quas in the top lane, being the ones who got the deeper wards, using that knowledge to their advantage on the side of Team Liquid. So with that play, we'll see where they actually go here. Dominate knows he has kind of an idea of where Meteos is going to be now. Helps him to be a bit safer, not have to pressure too much for his early Echo jungle, which he seems he's doing pretty well at. 12 to 19, so still looking to get himself back in. Double rings for Phoenix in the mid lane as he's getting pressured out pretty hard here by Incarnation, who looks to go back soon.
Meanwhile, we see Echo in the jungle.
slowly making his way. He might have to go down to bottom soon. Sneaky and Elimination both continuously pushing in Piglet special here. Not too much damage has been traded or CS in anybody's favor. But they're trying to make sure that if pressure has to be given, Dominate's going to have to give it to the bottom.
So here's Meteos going for a risky play. Because, yes, his mid laner's doing really well, but the mid laner's not there for him. So even though there's that advantage, very risky, and it might cost him a summoner spell if the bottom lane cuts him off. It does.
Yeah. I was going to say, let's see how that interaction works. And at the cooldowns, Dominate didn't have too much more chase, but a good flash blown there by Meteos.
Yeah. So that's the whole point of relying on that strong mid lane matchup.
Yeah.
You can get chased out right there. It does cost him the flash, but bottom lane may be the ones to pay the price in the end.
3v1 right now. Sneaky doing what he can from the outside to save Elimination. It's only going to be a few more shots, and Sneaky not being able to provide too much. Very low in mana in this first engage. They're still looking to get anything back off the auto attacks. One more relentless pursuit into the fight. Focus onto Piglet, focus on to Dominate. They do get the summoner heal out, so getting a little bit out of re-engaging. Good first blood, however, from Liquid to come up strong in the bot lane. Really focusing more onto Piglet throughout this season, way more than they did last season.
Yeah, another strong move there from Dominate. Early on Echo, they're able to catch Lemonation out. That's where a lot of teams have found success attacking Cloud9's bottom lane, because Sneaky has been the main damage source for the team, the consistent. Ooh, nice interrupt there on the LeBlanc W.
Distortion block, I like it. Also had the shield for Shifting Sands, so he didn't really get hurt at all either.
Yep.
The Emperor's Divide goes down. And I don't think we're going to see Dominate here anytime soon. So you can see Incarnation, even without that many wards on his top side, still pushing in right underneath the turret. Incarnation makes his way out of any aggro range. He's safe, but he's winning this lane.
Incarnation with no mana, but Phoenix with no health. So health wins out. Yeah, Incarnation, you know, despite what...
gotta know it's a bait.
Despite what we've heard about the Phoenix matchup, doing very well. He's got all the key points to the Azir LeBlanc matchup down. The interrupt on the distortion before she can hit the destination so
Yep.
she doesn't deal damage. Shoving her into turret very early, as we saw, to force miss CS. And Phoenix definitely paying the price there. So eked out a small CS lead for himself, Incarnation has. And provided that mid lane pressure.
All these forward wards placed in by Meteos, that early Sightstone, just allowing them to grab that dragon very easily. And you can see they still have a bit of vision on Dominate as he enters into the jungle. So he has not really been able to go anywhere without Cloud9 knowing. Yeah. Except for the first hit they had on Red, which has not seemed to stop Meteos whatsoever. Still playing strong. He heads to the top side. Looks like Lemonation's going to go ahead and 10 down to Sneaky so he doesn't get dove here.
Yeah. So Lemonation finally makes his way back. He did go on that very common support journey into the enemy jungle after recalling, grabbing that
early Sightstone.
Grabbing that Sightstone. He went to place some deep wards as well to help out with that vision game, and arrives back in time for the minion wave at the turret. So the CS up here.
See where they go. Push the shield on. Ardent Blaze connects, but no follow-up. 69 to 69 in this lane. Very, very even with still Piglet having the kill. He's rushing that Sheen for a little bit more front-end power in the engages. We'll see where Incarnation, the rest of the team, goes after this.
Yeah. Not only does he have that kill in Sheen, but he's hit level 6 now, so he's got the barrage of rockets available. Really turns the lane. A lot more power here on Corky's side, and he should be just fine. Plus, they invested in that first pick, Alistar.
Yeah.
The perfect bodyguard here.
Still waiting for that Quas teleport as well. He comes into the bottom lane. Somebody gets pulverized just like that, and with a Hecarim on board, you would be a dead 80 carrier support. 86 to 70 up there, and he's consistently pushing Balls back. Balls has just pushed his wave to go back and try for Krugs a bit.
Yeah.
So he's trying to get that CS back right quick.
A little bit slow on that one. Phoenix does get a nice trade in. Bonus for Phoenix. That top lane, though, very good to mention that, because Quas is doing really well, and he is invested in the early home guards. A couple of games we did see Quas just decided to go pure split pushing, and he just straight rushed Trinity Force. But he is looking for a cross-map play this time around, because he pretty much already has the matchup in hand.
Yeah.
Working with that early CS lead he's worked up against Balls.
That kill potential as well with the Ignite teleport instead of Balls running the teleport smite.
Very true.
So probably catch somebody off guard at least once.
In order to do that, they need to get more wards out on the field, though. Team Liquid are having a hard time just because it's double Sightstone rush against Nunu. It's really hard to keep up that vision game against this Nautilus Nunu combo. Meteos doing a good job not only smiting Raptors for the buff, as Dominate has as well, but dropping pink wards and keeping that vision game up.
Definitely a lot of control wanted right now on the bottom side of this map. It looks like they also know where the wards are being placed. We see a few pings coming in from Team Liquid here. They play it safe for the time being. Once again, that engage, it is a level 6 Xpecial. He's going to throw down the ultimate. He finally does, but it might be enough to take him down. Xpecial's forced to go back in to finally save Piglet. Sneaky flashes forward. Parallel convergence comes in. Dominates now in the fight with the phase dive. Could it be enough to carry him off, though? The early damage may not be there. Dominate looking for the Time Winder, but it's just going to be an auto attack. Now on to Lemonation. If he can get out the slow, he might get the catch, but I don't know if it's going to be enough damage to finalize the big tank. Lemonation just walks away from that one. A little bit repaired there from Team Liquid, but a good engage by C9.
And that is exactly why so many teams are now focusing the bottom lane of Cloud9. Sneaky and Lemon make a huge play. They make a 2v2 outplay by themselves, but no deep wards. They've all timed out, even with the new jungle, so they don't see Dominate arriving, and they do get caught. Dominate with another move down bottom to capitalize, help out Piglet, and get a kill for himself this time.
So help all around. Dominate 1-0-1, having an assist in the kills all around the map so far. As we see Xpecial just playing the ward game, trying to get a few forward and see if any more will come his way so they can defend those. Wants to go back out and get the pink. So just a little bit of breathing room here for the rest of Team Liquid. Mid lane, Phoenix seems like he wants to go pretty aggressive, and he is not winning these trades by any mean off the bat.
Yeah, completed Morellonomicon already for Incarnation because he had that earlier recall. Got to use his slight advantage to complete the item. Since then, though, Phoenix doing a good job catching up. Double support roams with the task of clearing out wards around mid.
It's a back and forth between the items. Some finished on the side of Cloud9. Morellonomicon, as you were saying, BF Sword Pickaxe, but you're going up against Fade Sheen now, so you got that poke as well. It's definitely going to be a good fight from both teams here, barring the fact that they take too much damage to start it off, and I think that might be what we're seeing right here. Liquid trying to get in a good spot. The teleport is first from Balls. Quas is going to answer, but it's not a home guard Hecarim coming in here. He is able to grab the kill, actually. Coming in first, nicely onto Elimination as he was trying to route the other side of the fight. Balls is right in the middle. 4 members of Team Liquid able to focus him down. Meteos going down in the fight to the hands of Piglet throughout that, but just not what Cloud9 wanted.
Yeah, Cloud9 with a little bit slow there on that invade. And Team Liquid, good collapse. Dominate was able to land the slow, back off, and then get his W up.
Yep.
Wait for that small travel time.
Ooh.
Close off the exit.
50-50. Like it. So the teleport's coming in big there. Quas actually not even using the Ignite within that one. Team Liquid finding pretty much everything they want. Dragon's still going to be what's coming up next, and that might just go over to Cloud9 here with what TL had to expend in that last fight.
Yeah, so far with the Nunu, this is the advantage of Cloud9. Just trying to stack the dragons. It's really difficult though to fully utilize a dragon advantage when you are significantly down in gold. So at this point, the gold disadvantage is manageable for Cloud9, but it's going to become very, very difficult for them as we get to number 3 and 4. Even though they have stacked up the first 2, in order to win the next dragon fight, Team Liquid would have to be out of position, and they would have to make a misstep as far as allocating resources, because Team Liquid...
They'd have to make a big misstep. They're relentlessly pushing their wards forward here. They see everything Cloud9's doing.
Plus, they're about to hit the double Trinity Force spike. Oh, Quas, though.
Misstep, what, Kobe? Here comes the culling. Quas still going to be pretty tanky out of this, and Parallel Convergence is going to keep everybody just from re-engaging. I don't think they wanted it anyways from the side of Cloud9. They're still trying to repair what happened here in the early game. Put them 2,000 gold down. Right now, bottom lane just crashing into the turret for Liquid. Nobody's picking that up here. Cloud9 just has to focus on other things. Right now, to deny the blue buff would still be pretty good.
All right, collapse here from Team Liquid. They want to answer. 5 people moving up. Quas does not have teleport, or Balls does not have teleport, so Cloud9 are going to be outnumbered.
Oh, Meteos thinking he can get in, gets bumped out of his absolute zero, and only a few more shots needed to take him down. Quas picks that one up. Now a 202 horse, only getting bigger.
Yeah, outnumbered, going for the invade, and Cloud9 pay the price here.
Strong lane, strong game for Team Liquid.
Yeah.
And it's happening again.
Their dragons that they've gotten do not give a lot of power in the early game. The main power is if you're ahead to be able to force the hand of your opponents. But it should be Team Liquid's time to take over the game. As we talked about, mid-game focused. They've got the Trinity Force on Corki already, and Hecarim should be close to completing his. So if they do a good job with their vision, then they might be able to make a play. Let's see if Balls can make a play down here. He's waiting patiently for it.
See if he can.
He's hoping for a face check from Piglet.
We heard him talking earlier. You know, Quas can play more of these aggressive champions. Although they share some of the same pool, we see Hecarim just kind of take out Balls' Fizz within this game. So he said it himself, that this would kind of happen in lane. Expecting it, still now trying to repair. Only 7 CS behind, but not able to make the same impact in the team fights here. Yeah. Sneaky now to clear out the top wave. A little help from Elimination so they don't get themselves into too scary of a situation.
Able to even up the turrets now, but still, the extra kills for Team Liquid. They're working with a fairly significant item advantage still. And they have an approximate timer on Dragon as well. So they should be able to set up for that in time. Plenty of wards as well to set up a teleport play, as Dominate has opted to go with the full tank Echo as expected coming from the jungle. Going Sight Stone for utility, and he'll be relying on his passive.
Yeah.
Triple hits, as
Like
well as the utility that he brings with his giant AoE stun.
It's a big nuisance out of the jungle. Time winders everywhere. Parallel convergence. Huge cast range, actually, which can really separate a fight if a team doesn't know how to get around it, or that they can just walk through it without him being there. Phoenix going deep. No real chains to come out there and add any extra damage. Xpecial may find himself in a spot he does not want to be. There's that parallel convergence. Just kind of separating everything for a quick second here.
Yeah.
Balls in the bot lane should be able to get this.
Let's see.
Actually, I don't know.
Let's see if Quas is heading down there to try and cut him off.
He's definitely going to push him off before that wave can be of too much help.
Got the cannon.
And that's just when the wave reached the turret. We saw that previously. I said that was crashing into Cloud9's. They were not picking up that CS, so they're kind of a little late to the janitorial duty here in some of the lanes. Not giving them the lane pressure they want, just outright. They're always trying to clean up and trying to recoup here. Coming up on 20 minutes. Good lead by Team Liquid so far. And if Phoenix can keep doing that, Cloud9 is not going to want to start any fights. Trying again. That could have been Incarnation going down if he connected the chain.
Well, good thing for Cloud9 he did not, because Incarnation is going to be the main focus for the team now. Keeping him up, keeping him blood-boiled. They need that Azir, constant DPS, to actually turn the team fight if they are going to take one during these mid stages. Otherwise, they should just play defensively. They should probably not try to contest this next dragon because they are, out itemized at the moment.
Yeah. Well, gotta say he's definitely having a bit of a better game on Azir. Last one was last week versus Xiao Xiao on Impulse, and Xiao Xiao went 8-0-8 in that game. So Incarnation is righted the ship here, at least in that matchup. Kept himself alive throughout the laning phase.
Yeah. All right, though. Team Liquid setting up for Dragon, 40 seconds ahead, getting all their vision down. Really nicely set up by them. They've got the double Trinity Force. They even have a teleport ignite opportunity with Quas if he wants to go sit in Fountain and charge up his home guards. So Cloud9 definitely need other options. Nunu does open up early Barons since the Cloud9 are focusing a lot of vision over here. Maybe they go with a risky play and they try and trade the early Baron for Dragon.
We saw it in Europe.
Very risky, though.
You have a team that can get over the backside of that wall. Crepo was going crazy when they did it with Bard, but this entire team, except for Nautilus, can get themselves over. Good pressure by Liquid here in mid lane, and they're not going to find anything. The pressure here from Sneaky and Balls on the outside says this is what we want to focus on, and hopefully they can drop this outer turret. Sneaky's already going to have to back off, but Balls does finally get that one to go down so they can start to open up the map a little more. Still looking for the mid turret, though. This goes to show you just how much pressure Team Liquid has had in general on the map when you still have that up.
Well, yeah, a fairly good trade there for Cloud9 to... They know they can't handle that poke. Uh-oh.
Woo! Bye-bye. Oh, maybe. Cloud9 going pretty hard here. A little bit of a tunnel onto Phoenix. They're still going to depth charge, so he can't follow up on any of the executing kills, and they are going to be able to get out of that. Few too many ultimates used, though, to disengage.
Yeah. Cloud9 try to get with the collapse. You have to be very careful, though, when trying to go for these trades. The 1-3-1 split push while Team Liquid shove up mid and trying to abuse their LeBlanc plus Corki poke at the turret.
Yep. So clean up the side lanes now for Liquid before they really get themselves into any fighting. Great forward ward so far. They're sitting on the Triforce spikes. They can really get a good fight out of the team if they get the right positioning. We've seen Phoenix trying to pick people off, and right now Incarnation has been that target over and over again. The calls coming from Meteos and Lemonation throughout the game, mostly Meteos, especially during times of being down, trying to get the team back in line.
Yep, strong vision control. There's the Dragon. Cloud9 should not and will not contest. I talked about the possibility of that sneaky Nunu early Baron trade for Dragon, but because Team Liquid covered their bases, they were able to get wards up on the Baron. That's not a possibility. You do not want to get your hands caught in the Baron jar this early in the game. So not on the table for Cloud9. Dominate, definitely no stranger to those sneaky Nunu Baron plays.
Nope.
And you will not be able to pull that off this game.
He goes side to side on Echo. Now at the top side of the map, he's going to be getting scuttle control for the team. And it looks like a little bit of that Baron control is recognized, that the fact Nunu is on the side of Cloud9. So they want to start locking down the vision on that. With 6-2, the fight's going to definitely be in their favor. They find it first. They're more powerful. Phoenix already able to put that needlessly large rod inside his inventory. His Incarnation's looking for the Abyssal Scepter, saying it hurts too much, but I still want to do a little bit of damage myself. Righteous Glory onto Lemonation. You guys need a little bit more of a way to get back into the fight here.
Quas is on the chase there. Balls looks like he's caught in the enemy jungle, but playful Trickster away.
A little bit of love.
Able to escape.
A little bit of love indeed.
Or
trying to take down the huge horse. Dominate, getting out of balls. You can see not too much damage. Just trying to facilitate more of the team being able to get there and collapse down in the fight. Cloud9 putting their foot down now, saying we want to start being the ones to pressure. And we'll see how Liquid responds. They've been on the foot on the pedal the whole time. And it looks like now they're on reverse.
Good turret there for Cloud9. Cross map move. Meteos, though, takes a bit of poke on the exit. So they were able to use balls getting caught in the jungle, quote unquote caught. All right, well, let's see here if they end up paying for it.
Ooh, Dominate trying to run out. Depth charges on. Meteos is trying to follow the backline as Balls comes in here. Dominate should not be living too much longer. Goes for the chrono break. He escapes. Parallel conversion, not going to be able to come out and shield him at all. And there's just too much catch up. He was not able to use that phase dive to a champion and get the movement speed.
Cloud9 crawling back into this game through shot calling. Able to make a play on the bottom side of the map. And a little bit of a misplay there from Team Liquid.
Yeah.
They get a kill on the back of the turret as well. Smart game plan from Cloud9. See if they can keep it up, though, because they do have to deal with minion waves now. They spent so much time bottom. Looks like they're going to be able to recoup the rest of the gold.
That's what we saw the first time they had to react. A little bit of a mistake. Went a little overkill for the fight and lost one of their own members there. 2-1 in the Dragons. So it would be good if Team Liquid could stop that move to 5 here from Cloud9, and they have with the most recent one. So that closes the gold a little bit. Also allows Cloud9 to get more wards in the forward part of the map than they had before. It was real dark before, and now they can start to get a little more pressure on this.
Yeah, good job by Cloud9. Recognizing the strength of grouping versus the double assassins from Team Liquid. We saw them control the double assassins very well in that last engage, even though Phoenix jumped back out.
Hello.
Dominate was in line for the calling.
Feeling pretty confident about this engage. Nice dredge line to the terrain. It's going to get Lemonation to safety here, but Team Liquid still focusing in on this one. Quas with the TP home guard goes right for Sneaky. He's down to about 30% HP immediately and is trying to kite the fight out now. Dominating the front line. Phoenix and Special on the top side as they still go for Sneaky and Lemonation. Sneaky's now in a bad spot, but he relentless pursuits, trying to get the safety. He still goes down. A nice sigil coming in from Phoenix takes down Lemonation as it's going to be Special in the trample to get a final kill. Ball says fishy stuff on the backside, but Incarnation cannot follow up, and Liquid in and out, basically unscathed. Everybody's got pretty good health bars.
Balls with the free willy right there. Lands his fish and then hops right over it. Special's head. And no effect on the fight at all. So Team Liquid able to use the teleport home guard. They get to the back line. Quas does his job, and they've got control of Baron Pit.
Woo! Going in. Nice dip back and use of that distortion by Phoenix, making sure they don't have any chances to get themselves closer to that Baron. Balls really wants
he wants to make a play.
One more engage. The focus needs to be on Baron. Balls gets in. He steals the Baron. He had the smite and he used it perfectly. The team is up, so Cloud9 gets that on 4 members.
All right. He made up for his lack of team fight.
They were so worried about Incarnation the whole time.
Well, they've also got a minion wave to work with. They're going to get a turret off it as well.
Absolutely ridiculous. Beautiful play by Cloud9 to persevere at the Baron Pit. Balls coming through with a huge play after being put down in lane all game to bring the team back in.
It's the kind of thing you don't want to have to count on, but you'll definitely be glad when it comes through for you. Now they've got 3 members in the enemy jungle. Can they make a play on LeBlanc? They've got the Raptor buff on Meteos, so they know that they are... Oh, they got it.
Oh, it's a quick move. That's the depth charge, and that's the call. Oh, man. again. They pop the clone. They pop Phoenix. He goes down. So they are going down all across the map here, Kobe. Let's watch this one more. So much focus on Incarnation when this guy's the problem.
Yeah.
Balls.
You're not used to having to deal with 2 smites, but Balls, he just gets up to the edge of the Baron pit. His ward that he dropped over the side, and he outsmites.
Drops the Trident. Thank you very much.
Woo.
Walks out. 16 seconds on Dragon. You can expect Cloud9 to force this a bit. They have all the wards they need to chomp that one down, especially with Meteos. And it's going to have to be lane repair here from Team Liquid, at least on the bottom side. Looks like Phoenix has that under control, so the rest of the team might try to give a little bit of pressure to this Dragon.
Oh man, yeah. I was downplaying this early stacking Dragon of Cloud9, but they still have Nunu. They still have the double smite, so neutral objective control. Now that the game is coming back towards even and they've been able to make up for the early game losses, Cloud9 sitting very pretty here. They've got the late game of Azir Nunu to rely on. They've been able to work their way through their mid-game hardships.
That's almost 2 in a row we see quick mistakes as Team Liquid is pressured. In the bottom lane, we saw Dominate go a little hard after they dove onto Quas. He got out with the ultimate. Now at Baron, they kind of get themselves into a sticky situation. Can't find themselves out. Both of those times have given Cloud9 a huge chance to get back in this game. And now it's only about an 800 gold lead. That kill under the turret. It'll be a little bit harder until you can break the shield. But yeah, Piglet and the rest of the team still looking to go hard for these kills. They're not giving up.
That is definitely a full tank fizz right there. LeBlanc shrugged off.
Just finished that Frozen Heart from the last fights.
That was very little. Yeah, that's exactly what Cloud9 want. Fizz to be the focus. Yeah. They want Balls to get into the fight first to try and start baiting people. Because not only is he extremely tanky with the build, but he also has the low cooldown Playful Trickster. It's also maxed just to create some havoc. Now, what I like to top off this build with, I don't like to go 100% full tank fizz. A Blade of the Ruin King for the last item, since you already have Spirit Visage, makes him really good at taking down any other tanks in the game. Not only because of his W and the Blade of the Ruin King, but the mixed damage as well. Zero turret going to try and make pressure, buy time for the Fizz split push.
Oh boy.
He has teleport.
Quas coming in again. There's the TP coming in for Fizz right in the middle of the fight. That means he has the backline in his eyes if he wants to, and he goes right for Piglet. It can't be helped. He misses the fish, actually, so Balls not getting what he wants out of that fight at all. Meteos gets pushed out. Xpecial's getting the rest of the peel for their team on. Now they're on elimination. Liquid has all the focus they want after that error.
Ooh, Team Liquid able to get another great initiation with Quas from the Heck Room. They force the issue and run straight up mid.
Straight up mid, Xpecial to be a brute force tank here, being the first guy to put his old butt in the way, and they'll be good. He knows what he's doing. He's a veteran. Gets that, quickly kicking these down, and it looks like they're going to be out with an inhibitor nicely. I don't think any real danger is going to be coming their way. Phoenix getting a little edgy there, but he also takes Sneaky down to about 20% HP on the way out to make sure they cannot just flood out the base and stop these backs here. Great play by Team Liquid. They actually stopped on that one. After they got the advantage, they didn't go too hard. That's what they fixed through the past fights now.
Ooh, what a close game we have here, Riv. All right, so yeah, Quas, great move right there to get around Nautilus.
So did Piglet dodge this, or did he just miss the fish? Let's see what happens.
And Piglet on the outside. Yeah, he's just able to kite.
She just kited it out
the entire time. And Elimination also got hit up by the parallel convergence. Halfway through, they were able to land the one-man stun, and it really separated the team fight as well.
Yep.
You do get a lot of zone control out of that Echo, and the Azir Lucian locked up on the other side of it, so splitting the DPS from Cloud9 off from the rest of the team.
Yep.
Like we were able to collapse.
All right, what kind of core items are in inventories now? 80 carries are 3 items each. Frozen Hearts for Quas and Dominate here as they're really trying to shut down the damage this Fizz can do, that this Sneaky can do as they get into the fights. And that teleport was probably one of the best that Cloud9's going to get into a fight, right onto the back line. And somehow Team Liquid were able to dance it out very, very nicely. 32 minutes in, those Triforce are still doing a good amount of damage. Pushing top. Quas in the bot lane, so it looks like they're going to start spreading Cloud9 thin here, and we could actually get a fight if this wall of offense does not show themselves. C9 doesn't have the wards here.
Cloud9 should get their wall up there with Azir, bring him up, and they could defend this turret. A little bit slow on the rotation, though.
Very, very slow on the rotation, especially for a turret that you can route a team and get behind for the engage. Team Liquid only want the turret, though. Playing it cool and collected in this one.
Yeah, Cloud9 have to be very careful because Quas was able to make that initiation on Hecarim without using teleport previously. He does have teleport now.
Leave it up to everything, Kobe, and a pink ward is what you start the fight over. Dominate's a little too close. Chrono Break back to the fight. He's nice and healthy now. That's going to be Meteos going down to the Ignite. Balls to the back line again, not able to hit that fish as much as he wants. It stays alive, even through the chain, and Phoenix goes down, and now the fight is on to Echo. Dominate gets hit up, Incarnation gets himself out of the fight. Sneaky's trying to kite this one out. Balls, or rather Quas, able to chopper him down, cut him down with the Hecarim Q, and now they're on to Lemonation. It's only going to take a little bit here. They know they don't have to worry about King Carnation at all, but they also could be getting a push off. Here. That's it. Leave the kill to Piglet. Very smart move and start heading towards the objective.
Well, can they finish this off? Because Incarnation is going to do his best to delay them and buy time for Meteos. All right, just the threat of Incarnation poking over the wall with those Sand Soldiers is it enough to dissuade Team Liquid for full commitment. And we see another drawn-out team fight. With how many ridiculously tanky champions we have, whoever's mid or AD carry goes down first is the team to lose the team fight. That's okay. So keep track of Piglet, Phoenix, Incarnation, and Sneaky. Those are the 4 main ones. Special gets chunked out extremely low at the same time as Meteos. Those are pretty much, you know, frontliner for frontliner. Meteos tries to stay alive by eating the wolf ear, but this is basically everybody converging on balls there, Fizz in the back, and the opposite for Cloud9. Incarnation able to get away for a second here, dodging this missile. And that's the only thing that saved Baron for Cloud9. Yeah. If it wasn't for that, it would have completely cleaned up the entire fight. Quas on Hecarim. Very, very strong force as far as this game is concerned. Doing a significant amount more than the Fizz in the team fights.
In the replay, I noticed that Chum the Waters actually hit the clone and not Phoenix, so
that's one of the
things. Smart.
That's one of the things that Hecarim has over Fizz. Since they build very similarly, they want to do very similar things. Hecarim can just guarantee his ultimate to the back line. Fizz has to really work that fish around to try and get it on the right target because there's so many strong frontliners here. It's hard to get to the back line.
To Team Liquid's credit, they are dodging and being in the right spots for Fizz's ultimates. Balls has got himself to the right spots. They are just making it very hard for him to actually come up big on any of them. Parallel Convergence gets thrown up towards the top side, so Dominate has that down as they try to lock down Balls. And Sneaky here. Sneaky not in a good spot. That's going to activate Baron. Baron takes down Sneaky with the help of Quas on that one. They're going to get a good hit onto Piglet here, but they're quickly also just going to trade the damage back over to Balls. Another victory in the favor of Team Liquid. Piglet has actually gone down to the fight and the, I believe, Trident in the end on that one. A good hit coming up. Absolute Zero able to do a bit, but not enough to the health bars of Team Liquid as you all right, Kobe. Ooh my, the triple kill as Phoenix starts dishing out some huge damage.
The benefits of a full tank Echo is that you can stick in the same spot for long enough for the 4 seconds to catch up. And the ultimate from Dominate there, not only healing, but landing a big chunk onto Incarnation. Baron up for Team Liquid. They should be able to now take the inhibitor. This is the basically the biggest swing that we've had in this game.
Yeah.
Finally, Baron going to tip the scales and get them that pushing power. With Sneaky down at the beginning, there's no way Cloud9 come out of this with anything beneficial happening. There's so few DPS, you know, players in this game. If one of them goes down at the very beginning, even though you've got 2 versus 3 over here for Cloud9, sticking around for that, just waiting for Team Liquid to collapse, they all end up going down. Whew.
Like it. Echo able to be used in these skirmish fights that just last forever. You got 2 on one side, another 2 or 3 fighting on the other. As long as he can get his ghost in the right spot, he's definitely going to be helping. Especially we got Phoenix distorting back in. That's what we saw just in that fight. Makes it now 21-8, 38 minutes on the clock here. And Team Liquid definitely making the Echo pick work. Did not in the early game. It wasn't the reason for everything happening. But starting to come out big. They definitely know how to fight around it. We haven't seen many teams be able to do that. Piglet 4-1-12. We talked about him a little bit earlier. Definitely a better season. Things just seem to be hugely on board with the communication for the team.
Pretty strong game here from Team Liquid. Cloud9 able to pull back a little bit in that mid game with some smart calls, but too many kills for Team Liquid. And Quas still hasn't died on this Hecarim. In the bottom lane, the split push takes its toll. 1 turret down.
Yep.
Looking at number 2 here, and they'll probably collapse onto this inhibitor.
10K gold lead
Oh, he
now.
forced the flash with just parallel conversions.
Just a few minutes ago, C9 had
Taking
closed this gold lead, but now it is Team Liquid pushing all the way in. It's not going to be much longer for C9 in this game, Kobe. It does not look like they've been able to iron out the wrinkles just yet. Team Liquid's going to move themselves onto a 4-1 now, being tied with Dignitas in the top of the list as they look at the Nexus turrets. It was only going to be so long in this game. Strong play from Quas in the top lane, strong play from Phoenix in that mid lane, and the rest of the team was able to pretty much carry along with that. They're onto the Nexus. It's going to be 40 minutes for this one as Cloud9 did as much as they could to come back in the game, but it just did not pay off. Team Liquid take down Cloud9 to go 4-1.
Yeah, great job there by Team Liquid. A very strong all-around performance from them.
Yeah.
As Cloud9 continue their slide. They had a good split bottom. They had a Baron steal that kept them in the game for a little while from balls, but not able to pull out, not able to execute in the team fights. And Team Liquid were able to secure their victory after the early strong play.
Great adaptation to making errors after their advantageous moments. As we said, Liquid faltered in the bot lane. They lost Dominate after Quas got out alive. Then they faltered at the Baron. But after that, they said, you know what, we're getting advantages and then just throwing them away. Get the advantage and be happy with it. Sometimes that's a hard thing to do, especially in a high-intensity game. But they're able to calm themselves down and really able to make the right calls and the right moves. It did not help that somehow Sneaky was caught out there at the end of that fight, at that Baron attempt, that really started to just catapult Liquid even more back into the game to give them position. Let's see what kind of damage charts we have on here. Piglet having a very good game for himself, 4-1-12. I think we said within the first few games, he had more kills than he did for his last split. And it's getting bigger and bigger now. The team trusts in him more. First Blood went to that bot lane to help get him fed. A lot more trust there, and it's working out for Team Liquid as they approach 4-1.
Yeah, the focus on attacking Cloud9's bottom lane does seem to be the emerging trend so far.
Yep.
And they've got a ways to climb back. Now, we are already into week 3, and they are still working out the kinks. Early game control, not quite what they wanted.
Yeah.
Team Liquid, though, all smiles. As they said themselves, the first couple weeks, don't draw too many conclusions.
I'm going to start drawing conclusions.
But
they are getting a lot better. Dominate being another player to want to try Echo and bring him into the list. Not having too much trouble on him. There were a few fights when it seemed lackluster, but he knew what to do. He wasn't saying, I'm going to kill people. He was there to facilitate, help the team catch up. And it really worked out. It's good to see teams branching out, being able to use these guys. And like you said, trying to make that name play, be the first guy. So he could be, did he just do the Dominate? But not this game. It wasn't this game. Right now we're going to send it to the telestrator to Freak and Zyrene, who can walk us through Team Liquid's win.
Oh, thank you very much, Riv. I am here with Zyrene, and in fact, we had a very strong game by Team Liquid. Cloud9 certainly looked pretty good themselves. They kept the game very close. There was even a cool Baron steal, but Team Liquid, just by and large, seemed like the better team, of course.
Yeah, both teams that I talked about at the start of the day, and I was like, I'm not sold on these teams, are both having pretty good showings here today. So we're going to have a replay on your screen that's pretty much all about prepping team fights. Because what happened here is Cloud9, they invade the jungle. They think that this is an advantageous position. They have 2 people coming in. They want to get ward control before they start pressuring around the mid lane. What ends up happening, though, they go mid, and Team Liquid responds. So as they start clearing out this pink ward here, and we roll the clip, you're going to see the reaction from Team Liquid is not if a team fight happens, it's when a team fight happens. And right there, you see Piglet clears the wave, and he leaves this big wave here for Sneaky. So Sneaky's in a catch-22 position. Do I go up and join the fight and leave all this CS that I will leave? Some of it is actually pretty low HP. He has culling, but he might need it for the fight. Piglet's going to go up. Alistar already on his way, especially you can see him up there in the brush. But as we continue to roll the clip out, you're going to see Sneaky opts to clear the wave, and Dominate starts this fight. Everybody is on the same page on Team Liquid. They want this fight. Dominate doesn't even have flash, and he knows that this is the fight they have to take. TPs come in, and you're going to see Piglet's rockets coming up from the bottom. Piglet's in this fight. He Valkyries into the back. He tries to get as much damage as possible. And now Sneaky off on the side. He just got here. And by the time he gets here, you already see Nautilus is dead. Dom, kind of low, but it doesn't matter because Piglet's already in the thick of it. Piglet already has a zone of control over these 2 members, and he's able to just wreck them. Sneaky in this fight, he can't get in here at all. Piglet's a threat. Quas is a threat. Xpecial's a threat. Sneaky's going to find no way into this fight, and they zone him out 100%. His complete contribution to this fight is 1 Ardent Blaze. That's it. So as we roll the clip out, you're going to see Sneaky trying to make a decision to get in here, but he can't. There's the Ardent Blaze, but he's zoned off completely, and so is Incarnation. The main damage dealers from the C9 lineup don't even get a piece of the fight. And that's why prepping fights and being on the same page is really important, because you have to say, when the team fight happens, not if it happens.
And that's just incredible, too. The entire impetus was they're clearing wards. I guarantee we get there first. Jump this. They've screwed up by trying to kill a ward barely past the river with 2 people.
Because Dom was saying, we are taking this fight. Be ready to TP in. Piglet, come up and help.
It was absolutely very great. So Team Liquid, a wonderful team fight, and of course a wonderful win for them as well. But we're going to hand it over to Dash at the analyst desk.
Thank you, gentlemen. I am here with Quas, and I will dominate after a solid victory, tying you back up for first place there with Dignitas at 4-1. So, Quas, to you first. After a somewhat tumultuous regular season last split, it has to feel good to start off with such a commanding record.
Yeah, for sure. We usually have a very rough beginning to the season, so starting this strong, I think it's going to mean really good things for us throughout the season.
And with that, though, Dominate, we did see last split a lot of peaks and valleys for the team, some struggles, some great moments. How are you this time around going to avoid falling into those valleys?
I think it's just going to come with our experience at LCS. Even though this week, I actually felt like this week was a valley for us in terms of scrims. Like, we played really, really bad in scrims. We were having a bunch of unforced errors. It felt like we were losing the game ourselves, but I guess now we're more comfortable playing at LCS. So even if we do have bad scrim weeks, we can come into it and just be confident in each other. Like, we all think we're really good players, and then we were just able to pull it out today.
You talk about your veteran status and the comfortability that you have in the LCS. Quas, is there anything different that you guys are doing in terms of preparation before showing up on game day this split?
There's like some things we're doing now that we haven't done before, where it's like we keep track of the matchups that we're playing during the scrim week, and then we make sure that we have everything in check for every situation that could present itself. So I think we're a lot more organized this split than we have been before.
Now, what would you say is the impetus for being more organized? Like, is it just personnel or?
I think it's, for us specifically, we're doing scouting reports now. So we have this guy named The Warlock, who's the coach for our academy team, but he's also helping us with scouting. And he puts together these really long reports breaking down the strengths and weaknesses of each team, their power picks, how each of their players play, and stuff like that. So we just have that in our mind going into the game, which, I mean, I know it helps me personally a lot. As a jungler, you kind of like to know the mindset and the tendencies of players. So having those kind of written to me helps me a lot in determining where I should be on the map, how people are going to play, when I can gank lanes, etc.
And continuing on this line of preparation and how you guys make decisions going into matchups, we saw the introduction of Echo recently. You go ahead and pull him out in the jungle. How does the team and the organization determine the value of a new champion and approach his introduction to the league?
I actually think that's one of our weaknesses. We've kind of been pretty slow to pick up champions. So I think consciously now, if we think something's strong, we just try to like play it. And regular season, I mean, it matters, but it doesn't matter as much as playoffs. So for example, Echo, we've only played it like 2 scrims, and we only started playing it on Thursday. We just saw like EU play it, and then we saw LPL start playing it a little bit more, and we just kind of realized, hey, like this could be a really strong jungler. Let's just try it and see what happens. If it's strong, great, then we get a win. If not, then we adapt and we realize that, okay, maybe we need to just go back to like our main picks, our Gragas, Rek'Sai, like the power pick junglers. So for us, I think it was just more trying to be a little bit more aggressive when a new champion comes up, try to figure out what the champion's strengths are and how we can fit it into a comp, and just be confident that even if we don't have like great experience, like I'm not a master level Echo. I've only played it like less than 10 games. But if we think it's strong, just try your best to make it work in a comp. And if the champion actually does have those strengths, they'll come out at LCS.
Now, speaking to champions and their strengths and what roles they fall into, I want to go to the top lane, Quas, because we've seen a very curious evolution in the champion pool of the top lane, having had, this really prioritized TP Smite in the spring, back to Rumble and Maokai and kind of some slightly more standard. And now we're back to TP Smite, even bringing in Fizz. Where is Fizz coming from?
Fizz saw a lot of play in LPL, and I think most teams realize that he is really good as a split pusher and as a very hard to deal with target in teamfights. So overall, he's like this split pushing threat that's very tanky and very hard to deal with. And a lot of teams have experimented with it, even ourselves. But I think there's a lot of variety in the top lane right now. There's still those really solid picks in Rumble, Maokai that you can still pull up. Then there's a lot of more like options for you. So I really enjoy it.
Yeah, it's been fascinating to watch the diversity of that pool grow. Finally back to you, Dominic. Tomorrow we get to watch you guys in the game of the week against Team Impulse, which is a replay of your 3rd place match from the spring split. So what's your assessment of that team going into the game tomorrow?
I think Team Impulse has been looking a little bit weaker this split because their players went to Korea for a while, and I think Zhao went back to China. So they've only had like a week of practice coming into the season. So I think they're kind of in the same spot as us, where they'll ramp up throughout the season. Like, I don't think that we're playing at our best level right now, and I don't think they're playing at their best level right now. But I think that there's going to be a lot of early aggression in that game. That's what Team Impulse does well. I think that we're getting a little bit more aggressive early game. So it's just going to be like a game that could either snowball really fast, one team gets a lead and just takes everything, or it could just be like a bloodbath where both teams are just going back and forth, dying all over the place. So I think it's going to be a fun game to play.
Yeah, Quas, 7-0-9 on Hecarim today. You're going up against Impact tomorrow, though, who is considered in that top echelon of top laners along with you. Do you expect a similar result, or do you think it's going to be a bit tougher of a ride?
I think Impact is going to give me a really hard time in lane, so I'm just prepared to be really focused and just play with the team, making plays around the team. And I think I'm expecting to have a similar result.
All right, I like to hear the confidence. Again, gentlemen, congratulations on the 4-1 start. We look forward to the game tomorrow. Now, don't touch that browser. When we return, Team Impulse will take on Team Dragon Knights as they continue the hunt for their first win in the LCS. The action continues after this.
Hey, feeling pulse? Feeling good?
Huh?
Feel good?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
If you want to hold my handball, it's all.
6 special. He's going to throw down the ultimate. He finally does, but it might be enough to take him down. Special's forced to go back in to finally save Piglet.
I'm on Lucian. Lucian.
Lucian.
No flash, Lucian.
Nalus.
Nunu 2.
Boss is smite.
2. Steel balls.
Boss going.
1.
Nice. Nice.
Leave it up to everything, Kobe. And a pink ward is what you start the fight over. Dominates a little too close. Chrono break back to the fight. He's nice and healthy now. Leaves right into the end on that one. Good hit coming up. Absolute Zero able to do a bit, but not enough. Team Liquid take down Cloud9 to go 4-1.